I feel like with both of you guys having Buffalo jerseys, we owe it to the fans to throw one of you, Shap, through a table.
I don't
Bill's Mafia.
I'm more concerned that one of us will take off the jersey and quit halfway through the podcast and retire.
Oh, nice. I just read about that today.
I'm halfway there.
Oh, we get a lot of shots. Everybody come to the net. We just have to get more and more pucks to the net.
What were you saying about putting pucks on net?
Pucks on net. Pucks on net. Continue to put pucks on net.
Pucks on net.
Pucks on net.
Well, that's the key. We got to get the puck on net.
We used to talk about in Vancouver getting pucks on net.
Pucks on net and driving it, making it a hard night on them.
Live on tape from Geeta's apartment, her palatial estate on the 23rd floor. This is Pucks on Net, a Vancouver hockey podcast. Doesn't talk about fantasy and fancy stats.
I gotta get that mortgage renewed if we want to keep doing it here.
It is training camp in the National Hockey League, and it's training camp here because one of our regulars has been, what would we call that with Dave? He's been relegated?
Not relegated.
Demoted?
He came in, did his thing, and then went back. He's a regular. He's earned his job.
Well, actually, they haven't heard that yet. We will throw to that.
Sorry, we're throwing to something that I've already lived through.
And PMAC is still in Winnipeg, and he did say that...
Is he on hold?
He's around. Oh, we'll try and get him on the phone, too.
Yeah.
He said he's starting a rival podcast called Pucks on Jet, and that if you want to know what tore me up inside, which was a rusty blade into my chest.
No, it wasn't. You were like, I've taught him everything he knows.
Yeah. He's like, can you mail podcasts in a bag? I want to do inventory on it. So my name is Ryan Chapp. I'm going to be your delightful host for the evening. Riding shotgun with me, as always. She owns this joint for the time being.
I'm here tonight.
You are?
Yes, I'm
Geeta?
here tonight.
You said something very funny to me, and I wanted you to mention it on the show. Well,
what
I don't
was
know
it?
Where
I'm gonna sit the rest of the training camp out, though. I've earned my job on the bench. In fact, at this point in time, I'm your Chris Tanev.
That's why you have a letter, Geeta.
Yeah, exactly.
You
I don't need to show up with these kids who are wearing the same fucking polo shirts they were the last time I saw them.
Anyway, Black Ace Cole, you're here once again.
Thank you very much for having me.
That wasn't a dig at you. That was a dig at
wasn't.
Benjamin Hutton, who wore the same shirt on media availability day in 2017 and again this year in 2018.
So we assume his closet is on rotation.
That guy is jacked this year.
Well, he's no Big Brock.
Oh my God, that guy can't even button his shirt.
Yeah, he is sitting there in the
buttons are gonna pop.
Okay, Jack, not in terms of he left his neck back in Ontario, but I volunteered at the Canucks charity golf tournament on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And that guy left every single pound of baby weight he's ever had.
Benji?
In the gym,
good.
yes.
He's a man
Nice.
now?
Yeah, Ben Hutton, he went into detail. I read I forget it was on The Athletic, which thankfully we have a podcast subscription for because I made that mistake. But he basically said he took the Gary Roberts approach and got tested everything and found out and changed his diet drastically, and he's down to 8.9% body fat. And
turns out Pop-Tarts aren't a diet food.
It was crackers.
Crackers.
Saltines?
It better not be fucking saltines. Jesus H. I want to thank you for joining us wherever you got us from. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at PucksOnNetCA or PucksNetCa. Thank you very much. And if you want to support the show monetarily, if you want to help us keep these lights on here in the Palatial Estate, help pay for Strata B forms.
Thank you.
That could come out of the Patreon money if you want. I'll give you $50.
Would you?
Yeah, we record here.
Oh, I would love that.
All right, I'll help
That
you
is the $50 that I refuse to pay.
You made a great joke because you're in the process of renewing the mortgage on the Palatial Estate, the main Pucks on Net recording studio. And you made a joke where you called it the Palatial Estate in Strata Zone.
Oh, I called it Strata BCS 2103 or something. Nobody looked that up. I don't know what that means. I may have just given away my address too.
Yeah. So if you go to don't go to your alderman or whatever and find information.
No.
Anyway, I think that our intro is a little sexier. If you want to support the show monetarily, head on over to patreon.com/pucksonnet where you can pledge a couple of bucks. Cole, how much?
A couple of bucks.
Geeta?
Yeah, a couple of bucks because I'm clearly in need of it.
Yeah, so we want you to help pay for Geeta's Strata B form, and we don't have all the information released yet. I will have all the details next Monday, but there is going to be the Pucks on Net Fantasy Hockey League.
Oh yeah, but I get to make all my picks first.
Yeah, and then we'll just hope that they're available. If not, we'll take the best suitable replacement. Black Ace, members are in, Black Aces are in. There is going to be a way that it's going to be a $20 buy-in, but if you're a Patreon backer, you don't pay that because you're already paying. So there will be priority to Patreon backers. I will release information when everything's worked out, but it's going to be head-to-head each week. Want to have a lot of teams. It's going to be a lot of fun, and that's coming in the news. Eric?
It'll probably be in the newsletter.
Yes, and make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. I've been really busy this summer. I'm making us blog. I'm making email newsletter subscriptions. It's it's really winning everybody over.
His Bumble is off the hook.
Oh yeah, my Bumble is going off the chain, man. Like a shark smells blood. These women smell employment.
There you go. You know what I love about Bumble is I was told it's the female empowerment version of Tinder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hit you with a counterpoint that might blow your mind. I say it's the exact opposite because now I know you think I'm cute, I think you're cute, and you're desperate to talk to me.
Cole, you look really pretty in your nice shirt today. Come on.
Thank you very much. I stole it off a picnic table.
He's sitting here in his Seahawks jersey.
I wish. I'm watching Hustle Bustle, Man Muscle, Russell Wilson right now do his thing.
Yeah, it's still football season until further notice. I think I have a new Patreon backer we got to thank.
Oh, do you now?
Yeah, straight out of Chilliwack. He's on Patreon under the name Real Good Joe, so we will refer to him as Real Good Joe. He's pledging $5 a month. That's a couple of bucks. And he bought one of the last Pucks on the Pucks.
Ever?
I gotta track in some inventory.
There's one in there.
Okay, well, the supplies are low, but I posted a photo of them on the Facebook, and we sold 2 pucks.
They're at a premium,
Yeah.
and the prices are now going to be significantly higher.
They're $690.
You should have numbered them because we literally have one left to give away.
Not all heroes wear capes. Thanks, Joe.
It'll cost you $50.
So the biggest, most terrifying news of the week is that Erik Karlsson was traded.
Who's this?
Terrifying for who?
Is
Ottawa.
he good or something?
Yeah, he's basically the type of player that the new modern NHL revolves around, and that type of offensively gifted defenseman that is fast as hell and can quarterback a power play. They're worth a lot of money, and so you want him on your team. But he didn't want to play for Ottawa, which I can't.
Right.
Can you think of a reason why he wouldn't want to play for the Ottawa Senators?
Absolutely not. They are a shoo-in for the Stanley Cup this year.
I mean, they made the finals once.
Yeah, and then
Twice.
Yeah, see?
They made the finals once.
They lost to the Ducks and...
They got to the third round recently.
Oh, yeah, only once.
Yeah, and then they lost to the Penguins. I just can't believe what a cliff that team fell off. Like the cliff.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like you had this team which was so optimistic with Kyle Turris and Erik Karlsson.
Yeah, but was that year not an anomaly a little bit? Like they weren't expected to be that good.
Well, they were still a reasonably good team. Mm-hmm. They gelled. Kyle Turris was coming into his own as like the perfect two-way Patrice Bergeron of Ottawa. You had arguably one of the best. Outside of Crosby and McDavid, one of the best hockey players in the league, with Erik Karlsson. They didn't have the goaltending, but they had about 4 or 5 pieces.
Craig Anderson was doing okay.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and and he was playing his heart out.
They were as good as you wanted an Ottawa Senators team to be.
Yeah, and then they didn't want to renew Kyle Turris' contract, so they traded him for Matt Duchene.
Which some people would argue.
There are some people, I can think of one person, goes by the name of PMAC, that'll tell you that that's probably the best trade in NHL history because he loves Matt Duchene, loves the shit out of him. That was the first problem. Then the off-ice bullying between the wives and girlfriends of the team, which clearly now you can understand.
Mind you, that only came out in the last little while. Like that came out during the playoffs or after?
It was after. It was around June, but that had been going on since November. I remember.
Well, I mean, they lost a child, and it was a difficult year for them personally.
But you got to imagine that rift between Karlsson and Hoffman is
in the dressing room. It obviously seeped in.
Yeah.
There's no way it wouldn't have, whether those allegations are true or not.
Yeah, but if they are true, that is a definite thing that could cause a huge rift in the dressing room.
Absolutely. I mean, it got Hoffman traded to San Jose and then to Florida-ish. The state of Florida.
Actually, Hoffman and they both got dealt to San Jose.
Yeah.
One got to stay though.
Yeah.
San Jose's like, we like that Karlsson guy. Beat it.
Imagine if Hoffman was still there.
That'd be amazing. Hoffman gets traded to the Sharks, and then Dorian's like, "Hey, Karlsson, you're going to the Sharks too.
You want to trade, don't you? Here you go, pal."
For those listening at home, that was flipping the middle bird.
Oh, I like that sound.
There you go.
Called us its own sound effects.
I like that. Just it's the equivalent of fucking figure it out, eh? Yep. So they had to move Erik Karlsson before the deadline. Or sorry, they should have moved him at the deadline last year. He could have gone to Vegas. He could have gone to Tampa Bay. Whatever had happened, I think they would have gotten a lot more at the time than what they got this time. But they had to move him before training camp because the second Erik Karlsson, who was barely saying anything all summer about any comments, I could totally see him not reporting to Senators training camp.
Yeah.
And the second he doesn't report to Senators training camp,
he would pull a Le'Veon Bell.
You know what? He's got 1 year left on his contract too before he gets the gigantic payday.
Yeah.
So I could have seen a Le'Veon Bell, and then the second he does that, they have no leverage.
No,
they're completely screwed.
So my question is, and this is so much easier said than done, but your Peter Dorian, I haven't seen a single analyst even say that he did okay in the trade.
You mean the prognosticators?
Yes, exactly. Craigslist and Bobcat Bob McKenzie.
Yeah.
But no one's even giving this guy a sniff of you did all right.
But you don't know in this moment.
What happens?
Those aren't household names that he's acquired.
And that's what I'm saying. But if you're Dorian and you know that you're going to get bent over a barrel and get shrapnel from the league, whatever team you trade him to, do you not go, you know what? We're going to take that C off your jersey. You're going to sit at home until you waive your no movement clause. And now we're going to trade you to Columbus, and now we're going to have access to 30 other teams in the league. Or you can
Columbus is a good team.
But that's what I'm saying. But
the Carolina or something.
He dictated where he was going to go.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to go to Vegas, or I want to go to San Jose, or I want to go to Tampa Bay. Okay, cool. You can stay at home and you can pout, and we're done with you until you go, you know what? I'm going to open up 5 or 6 more teams on my trade list.
That's not a good situation for either side.
It's a tough gamble. He loses. You know what? It doesn't benefit anybody. And sure, he could sit at home and pout, but I mean that tarnishes his value going on to free agency the next year.
But that's what I'm saying. That was Dorian's ace in the hole.
You lose Erik Karlsson for nothing, which is the biggest.
You still do, yeah.
Yeah, but now they've got essentially not a lot for him.
No, they have.
And you know that if you want to put the screws to the organization, if you're a Senator and you become good, ship me out. I'm done.
You know what? It's tough, and he was over a barrel in between a rock and a hard place, and I agree.
But Stevie Y with Jonathan Drouin showed
that's different.
A
That's
decent
much
set
different.
of cherries, and buried him in the minors. I'm saying you could put Karlsson at home and be like, talk to me in a month.
And then Karlsson can say, "Why don't you talk to me in 2 months?"
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, I'm not gonna. You know what? I'm gonna poof on that because if Erik Karlsson goes to free agency after sitting out a year with the the goddamn Ottawa Senators with drunk Eugene putting the screws to him, I'm siding with Erik Karlsson. I'm sorry. And he, if anything, he's going to be that much more healed because he was hurt. And he was rushed. He rushed to return. So I have a more healed Erik Karlsson.
There's nothing wrong with going back to Sweden for a little while.
Oh my God. And you're not going to convince a hockey fan anywhere that, I can't believe what he did to poor Eugene. That guy's just trying to get by.
No. Oh no, I'm not saying to gain sympathy from the fan base.
Oh, of course, of course
What
not.
I'm saying is, if I was Dorian, I would have tried to increase the trade market and been like, how many months do you want to set out? I'm just throwing it out there as like a hypothetical because that's what you do on these kind of shows. But if I have 3 teams, is Karlsson going to be all of a sudden a little bit more eager to maybe accept a trade to the Oilers and play with that Connor McJesus guy?
I hear he's good too.
Yeah, he's not shitty at hockey.
He's looking at where he wanted to go. He doesn't care what they get in return. He's not sitting there and going, well, I would trade myself for so-and-so, so-and-so, and these picks.
I agree, yeah. And I just feel bad. I feel bad for Ottawa, and I feel bad for Dorian and everybody that they couldn't have moved him to Vegas or San Jose.
They could have. They just wanted Cody Glass.
Oh, that's stupid.
And fun fact, they still didn't get Cody Glass.
You know who is the real winner in all this is the Colorado Avalanche.
How so?
Well, the Colorado Avalanche.
With the draft pick.
Yeah, so they've traded the first in the weird 3-way cluster fork with Nashville, where Turris went to Nashville, Duchesne went to Ottawa, and Ottawa's first round draft pick went to Colorado. And Ottawa had a chance. Colorado got to pick which year it was. Somebody, I actually don't quote me, but they got to say, what year do you want it, or do you...
but at what point in time do they pick that year? Like, they're like, we're going to see how low you can go before we decide.
It was last year or this year's draft.
Oh, okay. And last year's was the one that everybody was like, this is weak.
Yeah, and I feel bad because I don't remember who had the option to pick. But either way, there's a really good chance that the Ottawa Senators are going to be competing for Jack Hughes in 31st overall.
I think the Avs had the pick.
Then there are geniuses. Then Handless Joe Sakic is just a genius for going, I can see there's some, I'm hearing some rumblings.
That franchise always gets they always come out on top in those weird ass deals.
I know. Yeah.
You won the Eric Lindros trade again. There is a Peter Forsberg in this.
Wait. I'm going to sound crazy right now. I'm going to trade you Jocelyn Thibault for Patrick Waugh. Oh, you accepted. Okay, cool. We're set.
Like in 2018?
No, that was how they got Patrick Waugh back then. So, they just have this uncanny ability in trades to be like,
what about this? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So
we'll trade you our 4th liner for a Hall of Fame first ballot goaltender.
They send out locker room, doofus and maybe locker room trouble in Matt Duchesne.
They have a really good marketing team.
They've got a good plan there. Move Duchesne to Ottawa. The team will crumble from within. We'll benefit, and we'll get a All-American boy to play for our Colorado Avalanche.
Is this where you bring in Paul to defend?
Hoy.
Defend his honor.
He's grocery shopping at the second. He hasn't texted yet, so he's going to be so upset when he misses the Defend Duchesne's honor segment. And then the other problem is you have Matt Duchesne that could walk away for peanuts. If he's either going to get traded for...
He's going to demand a trade to San Jose?
He probably... I want to play with Eric, too. Can we all go to San Jose with Eric?
I miss my buddy.
I'd miss playing with Erik Karlsson, too. Joe Sakic, I believe. I forget... it said that his response was via text when somebody told him, I think it was his agent or the GM told him that he's going to be playing with Erik Karlsson. It was fucking fantastic. So Jumbo living up to his name again. We're gonna trend locally now to the Vancouver Canucks, our team ish.
Go Nucks
by default.
That's a great transition.
They have a new motto.
Do they?
It's now...
We're not all Canucks anymore?
No, we are still Canucks, but it just says battle 50,000 times across their social media.
We are relentless.
Yeah, relentless and battle. And so I posted about this today.
It sounds vicious.
It does sound a little vicious, yes. I posted about this.
Is it because everyone's like bulked up and now they're ready to battle?
You notice it says battle. It doesn't say win or be skilled or good at hockey. So they're going to go out there really hard every game and try their best. And they're going to be the best shape possible doing it.
But that's been their message for the last couple of years. Last year was compete is in our nature.
No, last year was look how fast we can do the grouse grind and run on the beach with this log.
Yeah.
And now, no nice scenic shots. Just we're here to exercise really good. So it really represents the city well because everybody here just loves to exercise really well. So I mean, bravo! They hit a nail on the head there.
Yep.
I guess.
But for the sake of this, I wish you hadn't read the notes. I'm also hoping you have read the notes.
I glanced at it.
I also glanced at it, but not nearly as much as I should have.
I haven't even touched it today. Should I look at it?
No, I'll ask for the point of this question.
Okay.
Do you know,
I don't know
who the fastest Canuck was?
Stutcher.
Jake Virtanen.
Jay Beagle.
Oh yeah.
Fastest.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you know who the best fitness, the best
Jay
in
Beagle.
shape? Jay fucking Beagle.
Yeah.
Jay Beagle has come to a training
Have
camp.
we bullied him into being the best?
I think so. No, he just is a good hockey player. He's a champion who played on a real team and knows how to win.
Like, that's the thing. He was a third liner on the team that won the cup.
And then he comes to this team of like
With this
complacent.
winning mentality, that's going to disappear really quickly.
Or, I mean, it will because he'll just be like, it's really nice here. Don't worry about it. I got 4 years.
I can
in
ride
town."
my bike at nighttime.
Trevor Linden said I could ride my bike on the seawall and nobody's going to shoot me. This is really nice. Way nicer than D.C., Jesus, which is just down the road from Baltimore. But, like, it's just, is it that Jay Beagle's really good, really athletic, in great shape, and he's evolving?
Put the C on him now.
You shut that dirty mouth of yours. Or is it just saying that these Canucks are just pudgy, lazy boys?
No, I think it's one of those things where he knows and embraces what type of hockey player he is.
Yeah.
You can be a hell of a hockey player on the third line, but unless your hands have been touched by God, a la Brock Besser, or you can crush an apple pie right before hopping over the boards and still go top cheddar like Jake Virtanen.
That's a peach pie.
A peach pie.
Look, all these guys have come to camp really fit this year, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had to.
But I think there's now this realization that just because we were able to do it in college or in junior, Jay Beagle was brought in to be the example.
Yeah.
And put these guys to shame.
And he's doing it.
And
Is
he's
Jay
doing it.
Beagle like a man?
Yeah, he's a man's man.
No, like
He's like 31.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm asking.
Yeah, but if you also saw him, he'd be like one of those, you know how like when junior hockey players look like men when they're in junior?
Sure.
That's probably what Jay Beagle looked like. Where he looked like
like Aaron Ekblad looked like he's older than me when he got drafted
Like-
first overall.
like Max Talbot, and then they're just guys that they've looked old since
He never had the baby face.
no.
And Ben Hutton,
Well, he did, and he was 4 years old.
Yeah. the fuck, I don't need this
Then
anymore.
he started bench pressing his dad in kindergarten. I'm going to the show, Dad.
You didn't know which show, but he was going to it.
So like some interesting notes. Oh, the other thing, this is rather unfortunate. Anton Roussel got a concussion in a informal scrimmage playing in Montreal, and he's not partaking in anything in camp, and he's kind of working his way back. Okay. So like the one, like okay, the one.
And he plays for Montreal.
He plays for the Canucks. Oh. And he was the French pest that really like idolized Alex Burrows. And he came to Vancouver, and he was out of the Beagle and the Roussel and the Schaller. He's the one guy that, well, despite having a long contract, I kind of like the idea of him on the team. We kind of
I like Beagle, too.
I mean, I like Beagle, too, now that he's going to, be the top-line center and, is going to win the fastest skating competition.
Did I ever tell you that there is a couple in Yaletown who have 4 Beagles?
Yeah.
The Jay Beagles?
Which they're the length of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, not his career, sorry, his contract. Yeah. They happened to pop up the same time he signed his contract. I thought that was a coincidence.
It's a bad omen right there. Troy Stetcher, he puked, but I also learned he threw up on the ice.
On Virtanen?
I believe that Virtanen went through it in some capacity.
And tripped and went into the boards and nearly got hurt.
Yeah, so that's not a good sign.
I have a slipping and vomit story
Oh, hit us.
that I don't know if I've ever told on the podcast.
Can we save that for 5 minutes for
Yeah,
pay?
we can save it for that.
Coming up after the show for 5 minutes of paying only on Patreon, patreon.com/pucks.net. Geeta will talk about the time she slipped and fell in vomit.
But everything they're saying about Stetch going to Gurphytown in the Chunderdome relates to just how hard he pushes himself.
Yeah, he's been known, and now I'm learning that he has a reputation for pushing himself to the max and puking a lot in training camp, which, hey, that's great for me.
But that's not healthy.
I mean, he's eating afterwards. It's not like he's binging and purging.
No, but I'm like, to that extent?
Yeah, but he's 5'3". If he doesn't make, effort his calling card, he's probably not going to be in the show.
And when you're a little guy that's only 4'12", you gotta be relentless.
I'm gonna ask some fitness person about this.
He's going to be the smallest Norris Trophy winner at 4'8".
And when he finds,
we will carry him on our shoulders.
And when he is in skates, he is a maximum at the most 4'6".
By the end, he's going to be like 2 feet tall at the end of this.
But my God, is he relentless.
But my God, that guy can barf from the baby toes on the bottom of his feet.
Oh, baby face.
So Ben Hutton lost his weight. Jay Beagle is impressing everybody. There's a lot of contracts. There's a lot of roster spots on this team. And it's on the Canucks. There's a log jam.
Yes.
And there are, it sucks that you had the idea of having to waive somebody, but the fact that they're quite open saying, if a rookie earns a roster spot, we're going to waive some jabroni. Mm-hmm. And, you're hoping it's Loui Eriksson.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Did you see, on media day, he shows up. His polo is loosely fitting compared to Brock's, which is just rock solid hard. And, all right, I got to segue because Geeta was just fist pumping in the air.
It's not. It's anger.
Oh, let's go to the out-of-town fantasy football scoreboard.
I'm losing.
And that is your out-of-town fantasy football scoreboard
Well,
update.
For those who care, my kicker got injured yesterday. He would have put up a lot of points because his team won big.
I feel like if we had a cricket sound effect, that would be where we use it.
Oh, I have...
Look, LA won 34-0 yesterday. I sound like God. Can we do this always?
It sounds like you're broadcasting from the basement, which is where your fantasy football team is at.
This is the sound.
Look, LA won 34-0 yesterday, and I lost a kicker.
This is the sound of no listeners, as we're talking about.
I feel like because it's my team, people care.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, they're coming back. Hey! Okay.
Welcome back, everybody.
Wait a minute, and you want a fantasy hockey thingamajigger?
Yeah, we'll talk about that on Patreon.
And there is a lot of paid content on this episode.
This entire podcast. This is a Patreon episode.
This
now.
is pretty much just an ad. It's
For
like
what?
one of those like apps where like they let you play for 5 minutes and then this is going to cost you
freemium?
$26.50.
$26.50 for this app. That is a great deal. This Kardashian app is going to pay for itself. What else is going on in this world? There's a lot going on. Oh, speaking of Loui Eriksson, who I was just dumping on.
Yeah.
Which I'm hoping that he gets waived because he will retire. He will be sent to the AHL, being the long story short, he is the current #1 leading scorer in the NHL for active Swedish players.
Okay.
Do you want to know why he's #1?
Because
Henrik Zetterberg got hurt.
Well, retired.
Yeah.
Two
got hurt.
Because Daniel and 2 Henriks decided to retire, and he got bumped up to #1.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know he was sitting in 4th.
That's like PMAC going to Winnipeg and Angry Dave moving to Ottawa, and now I'm like the next highest person on the Pucks on Net roster.
You know what? That was my perfect.
well.
That's the perfect segue for us to Skype in. Wink, wink to Dave.
We couldn't get rid of you.
That's true. I've begged and pleaded and scratched.
The back of his jersey says default. So at this point,
just another guy.
We'll take this opportunity to bring it. We'll bring up Dave.
Hey, Angry Dave.
Hey.
Who says I'm angry?
Everybody?
Anybody that's ever met you?
I mean, wait, are you happy right this second?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of hot. And
I heard
hot, and we're paying for the electrical, so we refuse to turn on the air conditioning.
I heard a rumor the day you were born, the doctor smacked you and they punched him right in the mouth.
That's true. Is that Cole?
That's our Black Ace Cole Renner.
I thought so. It sounded a lot handsomer than Paul.
But he has the beard growing ability that I envy so much.
Look, Paul's gonna
you're
listen
just not playing
to this.
the long game. You can grow a beard. It's just going to take you 2 years. You have no patience. It's not the beard game.
It got shaved this morning.
Paul is going to listen to this and be very disapproving.
He's always disapproving of everything I say.
That's his Nike ad.
Yeah, why should that change?
So Dave, you're officially our Pucks on Net Ottawa Senators Ottawa bureau chief.
You can call it not even the Ottawa. Everything's so close via rail. I can be in the Air Canada Center in 4 hours. I can be in the Bell Center in about an hour and a half, which I will be next Saturday night.
How long does it take you to get to Buffalo?
I don't know. I haven't looked that up. I don't think people in Buffalo want to look up how long it takes them to get to Buffalo.
We should say that right now, Geeta and I are both wearing our Buffalo Bills jerseys because it's still football season.
Nobody looks good in a Buffalo Bills jersey.
We look
or any football
really
jersey for that
good.
matter.
As proven by my Seahawks pitcher.
That's true,
yes. Yeah, and at least those are good colors.
So Dave, you get to Ottawa, Erik Karlsson gets traded.
Yeah, almost instantly. It's kind of funny. It's the rite of passage that the Swedish captain gets traded in the town that I live in. So, a la Marcus Naslund.
It's also the rite of passage that a very offensively gifted player in Ottawa gets disgruntled and demands to be traded to the Bay Area. Hashtag 50 and 07.
It's very 50 and 07. It's very much the same thing. It's an interesting town in terms of hockey coverage. It was all extremely negative.
Right.
It was right out of that movie Major League, the guys who they got back for Karlsson. It was they never heard of half of them, and the ones they have heard of are way past their prime.
Well, it's no longer Stephen Harper's Ottawa.
No, it's definitely not Stephen Harper's Ottawa. We're living in a 12-year-old jersey-wearing Eugene Melnyk world. It's
yes.
Can we talk about that for just a second?
The fact that no one noticed
that.
Yeah, no one noticed his jersey was from 2007. You own the team. Phone Adidas.
That Reebok logo hasn't been used since 2007, 2008. That thing is that's like Sid curly hair, still living in Mario's basement Reebok.
I looked it up. That logo was discontinued and it was altered to the Reebok text on the jerseys after the 2010, 2011, or around 2010. So
they shot that video in the arena. There's a team store downstairs.
They had the jerseys behind them that he could have worn.
The only thing that would have been better is if Eugene Melnyk does that tire fire of an interview with the Ben Hutton equivalent in Ottawa and then gets sued by the NHL for not honoring a partnership agreement.
Because he doesn't have the Fanatics or Adidas official wear.
Gary has to phone him and it's like, hey, dude, Adidas has given us a lot of money and you're just advertising for the other guy.
That poor defenseman, I felt so bad for him doing that interview that he had to do that. Just absolutely gut-wrenching that they made him a good company guy. I don't know if you guys follow Tim and Sid. They're big back east. Sid Sixero's rant on the forcing of Mark Borowiecki or whatever. I'm going to call him Ben Hutton East. I like that.
I like that. That's a very good equivalent.
Yeah. So it was just an absolute tire fire of an interview. I don't know who's running that marketing department, who let them go through with that, but it was just having a nice, happy-go-lucky defenseman force interview Mr. Burns to convince us all that the team's not going into the toilet. I don't really get it. Interesting enough, a couple of days after that, I played my first hockey game out here, as a member of the Ottawa Valley Swamp Donkeys.
Yep.
And I took a straw poll of my teammates. Not one hardcore Ottawa Senators fan amongst them. On paper, that doesn't look that alarming. The team isn't that new, or isn't that old. They've only been around for about 20-something years. A lot of the guys on my team are about my age, so maybe they had a favorite team before the Sens came in. But it's a little more alarming when you get down to the nitty-gritty of where Melnick's concern is attendance. Currently, right now, I looked into this, there's only 4,000 season ticket holders in Ottawa confirmed.
And
4,000.
are you one of them?
No, I'm not. Although they tried to give them to me at the airport, but I said no. I took the Jehovah's Witness pamphlets, but I didn't take the free Senators tickets. And I
now
took the Harry Krishna pamphlet too.
Melnick's knocking on your door every Sunday.
He's going up, to any floor that's, that'll allow him. He doesn't have the fob, It's like Geeta's Palatial Estate. You can't get between floors, so it gets stuck. But so yeah, Eugene got stuck on the floor, and he just slid the season tickets under the door again and said, "Pay me when you can." And I emailed them back to him. I don't want that stuff. So, it's bizarre. All these guys, they're the market that you want for season ticket holders. These are guys who have good jobs. They're in their early 30s, mid 30s. They have disposable income, and they're not going to the rink. Like these guys are driving to Toronto. They're driving to Ottawa. Oh no, sorry, not Ottawa. They're driving to Montreal for games, even as far as Detroit, 3 or 4 times a year, and booking hotel not to go to the Canadian Tire Center.
Yeah.
What is wrong with this picture? This is your market. These are guys who are so into hockey that they're still putting their bodies on the line for free.
Right.
But you can't convince them to buy tickets to your team. That's, it's not in town. It's 40 minutes out of town, but it's not an hour and a half like the Bell Center.
Yeah, well, that was one of the things that we used to talk about in the ticket department was it's the equivalent of driving to Abbotsford, but what we found so concerning was 2 years ago when Ottawa went on the playoff run and nearly beat the Pens. That series they actually removed physically from the Canadian Tire Fire Center 1,500 seats.
Yes, that's true. They did
so that they could get
attendance.
closer to the sellout streak in the middle of we're nearly making the Stanley Cup.
That's awful.
Should there not be a team here on that front? And it's interesting living in this city now. Like, I'm right downtown. I'm a 5-minute walk from Parliament Hill. Like, we are right in, like, it's in the middle of it as it possibly can be. Like, we're right in the middle of it. There's no evidence that this team exists at all. We're on the eve of the preseason starting. There's nothing on the streets. There's no banners. There's no advertising. I haven't seen anything.
Would you compare
lots of red black stuff? Blacks are everywhere.
Would you compare it to being, say, in New York, when in the Yankees to Mets ratio, maybe in terms of Leafs to Senators ratio, kind of thing?
This is a Habs town more than a Leafs town.
Okay.
Well,
very, very much so. That is again something that was I didn't expect coming here, but I see Montreal Canadiens t-shirts, hats, jackets. Like everywhere. It's all over the place. Habs. And a lot of French-speaking people here. The city is very much 50-50 French and English. So
yeah.
Well, Dave, we'll leave it at that, but I will say that I did go a little hog wild on the NHL shop clearance website, so there'll be something in the mail for you in the next week or two.
Shipping to my palatial estate here in Ottawa.
Now you can hear that echo.
You'll be getting your own Buffalo Bills jersey.
No thanks. Unless it's Drew Bledsoe, I'm not interested. No, it is a little echoey in here. Our furniture showed up on Saturday, but we still have a lot of things to buy. So there's a lot of empty space in the apartment right now. But we're gonna fill it up. Next Saturday, I'll be going to the Montreal Canadiens versus Ottawa Senators game in Montreal, and I'll have something for you guys next week on my experience at the what is it, the Bell Center? Or they change it all the time.
It's still the Bell Center.
That rink that people from Ottawa actually go to. Let's call it that.
All right, bud, we'll let you go, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.
Okay. Oh, I thought we were bringing in defense with Duchesne or something.
The Duchesne defensive with PMAC. Different Ottawa, or same city, different team, player. And that was Dave.
Riveting as always.
This is going to take some getting used to.
I know. We never usually, for those that are listening, we contacted Dave before the show because usually when we record a show, we just kind of hit record, and after the intro, it's just, I hope we get from point A to point B to point C and then wrap up the show within an hour. So to have some rules and regulations, in terms of content and structure, we haven't had to do that in about 5.5 years. So
can we still call it FOMO with Dave? Dave knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, FOMO with Dave.
When I'm bullying him, I ask him if he has FOMO.
No. One thing because we were talking about Erik Karlsson with Dave, there is one very spicy tidbit or piece of information about the San Jose Sharks Ottawa Senators trade for Erik Karlsson. Unlike the trade with Max Pacioretty, who needed to get the hell out of his Canadian city, there was a contract extension worked into the trade where that was expected. So he immediately signed for a 4-year extension, Max Pacioretty. There is no extension as part of the Erik Karlsson trade. So one of the things that people complain about is the value. Mm-hmm. Until he signs, they traded for a rental.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that gets lost in the shuffle.
I think he's going to market. I don't think he's going to sign. He could sign with the Sharks.
I thought they had already worked something out that I had read somewhere.
No, he is not. He is still has 1 year left in his deal.
I think he wants to see how many pennies are in that Brinks truck.
Yeah,
a lot, I would think. Especially if Thornton decides to retire.
He's doing year by year deals now. I believe.
And he's 39.
There is money. There's not all the money there, and I think he would need to see. And maybe they're treating it like an Evander Kane situation where it's like, let's see how you fit in, how it gels. Because there is one glaring thing about Erik Karlsson was that, he wasn't the best teammate. I mean, now we know that there was a lot of other stuff going on.
Well, yeah, but San Jose seems to like the not so best teammate.
Yeah, they can, because they have that culture that they can turn that around.
Yeah.
Are the Sharks the New England Patriots of the NHL? Give us your...
No, they haven't won.
It's still I'd say it's the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, give us your reclamation project and we'll turn them around.
Well, that's San Jose should have won. San Jose could have won lots.
Yeah, they have a damn near perfect team that just had some bad luck.
They just never win.
Yeah, and if we're making a Pats comparison, it's got to go to the reclamation project that is filled with Thrill Castle. And Mike Sullivan, who somehow goes to Pittsburgh, has the hell of a team in front of it. Now he's the most genius and angriest coach in NHL history, much angrier than Torts. But San Jose definitely has that reputation, and they've done that a few times.
Yeah.
And that's gonna, how exciting the San Jose Sharks are gonna be.
We're so excited to watch them.
They're going to score 496 goals from the blue line alone.
If only Patrick Marleau was still there.
They instantly made the 4 games that I have of Sharks tickets. I'm like, hey, I will actually go see this team play for the first time in 5 years.
Deleted those Craigslist ads.
Yeah, exactly.
If anybody needs tickets from...
I'm keeping these. No one's touching my Sharks tickets. We can go together.
You can explain to the listeners that you have season tickets for sale.
I do have season tickets for sale.
Tuesday night against Arizona, $460 for the pair. What do you say?
You typically buy those, don't you?
How dare you?
Geeta and I are going on a date on Wednesday.
That's right. I didn't even ask who he was taking me to see.
On Wednesday night?
You're going to see the non-China bound Calgary Flames.
Them.
Mike Vernon Jr., Joe Nieuwendyk Jr.
Theo Fleury Jr.
Thiette Fleury, his daughter.
What a progressive lineup you're going to see. Manon
Rayon.
This is exciting news for Geeta.
We're going there to have good conversation.
Well, yeah, it's going to be quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what?
We're the only 2 people in there. Thank you for booking out the whole arena for me.
Anything for my Geets?
That's a hell of a black ace. He's really warmed up to the team here in training camp. I actually started to get the itch where I knew that the training camps were starting to, or the preseason games were tomorrow, and they're playing the Oilers tomorrow night, and I'm like, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Yeah.
Do you just want to go there and see if we can get them for a couple of bucks?
I'm not giving any money to see a preseason Senators game or a preseason Canucks.
$20, you can have my dad's tickets.
What if we wait till like the second or the intermission?
You'll get paid to take them.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I might. Well, I might just want to sit at home and wait for the Thursday nighter. Only a couple days away, Geeta.
I mean, the Jets are playing in them.
Ryan
and I've been waiting all summer long for a Jets Thursday nighter.
Yeah, we're actually Geeta and I. We're now referring to everything as nighters. So right now we've got the Monday nighter on the TV. It's Monday night as usual. So the Monday nighters.
Also,
happening.
podcasts are a Monday nighter.
Yeah, podcasts a Monday nighter. You guys are going to the big Wednesday nighter.
We're going to a Wednesday nighter against the Calgary Flames. That's right.
Yeah, Thursday nighter, obviously the Jets, and the next thing you know, it's the Friday nighter. I'm sure the Rough Riders are playing the Rough Riders. Next thing you know, it's Saturday, hockey nighter in Canada.
And then we're gearing up for the Sunday nighter.
Yeah, and then it's just nighters. That's our life now. It's just nighter after nighter, except Tuesday. Nothing happens on Tuesday.
I mean, the Mariners are still playing.
Here's something very interesting that also has happened that we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah.
Well, in your guys' opinion, best...
Oh, look, here they're hyping that Thursday nighter.
Best GMs in the NHL the last few years.
That guy in San Jose, not the one in Ottawa.
Doug Wilson.
Yeah.
Who else?
Steve Yzerman.
I would have to argue, and you mentioned actually earlier in the show about Steve Yzerman telling Jonathan Drouin to sit at home and pout.
But now he's sitting at home.
He is waiting. He's left.
Yeah.
And here's the craziest thing, and I hope you haven't read the notes.
No, I haven't.
So I can get your delightful reaction.
I didn't read the notes either.
I slipped right into mid-season podcast form.
What? It's Monday? Oh, shit.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Monday again.
Let me tell you.
How many times did the Sens go to the Stanley Cup Finals? 5 times, and I'm going to say it with authority so Geeta knows that she's wrong. Oh, she's right? Fake news.
I learned this today, or this week, that Steve Yzerman commuted
from where? Detroit?
Detroit Rock City, all the way to Tampa to be the general manager of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Like every day?
I think it would be like a commuter train system.
Yeah.
Where you're coming home
on a Friday?
Yeah, he would when they went on the road, he would go home or something.
I feel like you can be a general manager from remote. Like you can
your iPhone is your office.
Yeah, you don't have to be in the city to field calls for trades and stuff. You just need a spreadsheet.
No, you're wrong, Geeta. You need to be in there. You need to be in the streets. You need to be in the dressing room.
You know what I would do?
You got to sniff it out. You got to feel it.
I would have their names cut out in little pieces of paper, and I'd be moving them around.
That's what Jim Benning does on his felt board, and it's not working out for him. But you can do this remotely.
Yeah.
Steve Yzerman, he wakes up at 10 or 11. He puts on his shirt and tie, no pants. He goes on to Skype or Google Hangout, and he goes, who's the coach?
As long as he appears online, no one knows that he's at the grocery store. Steve signed in for the day.
Steve's on Skype. He's working hard. I can only imagine the deals he's working. He's at the grocery store. Oh, shit, Jonathan Drouin, I got to do something about this. But he just goes on Skype. He wears his shirt and his tie and his underwear, and he goes, "Hey, John Cooper, how's everything down there? Okay. Do you need Shlezhnevnikov or one of those Russian guys on the top line? No? Okay, we'll trade him. I'll get you some Rangers because they're really close. New York's right here. I'll send you some old Rangers, and then bada bing, bada boom, it's offseason. I can go home to Detroit. I mean, back to Detroit.
Wait,
I'm not here right now.
Why does he want to live in Detroit? Is it the real estate?
Yeah, he has.
Also, 8 Mile is now on Netflix. Or has it been there for a while?
I don't know.
I just saw it.
He was one of those guys that started with the Wings at the age of 18.
Yeah.
And we've seen it with the Sedins, with them staying in Vancouver.
Right.
We kind of take it for granted, but if you get drafted by a team and then you play your entire career in that market.
Oh, yeah, you've established a life.
Yeah, that becomes your home. You've lived. The Sedins have lived in Vancouver longer than they ever did in Sweden.
Yeah, it's true.
And then you retire to Florida.
Yeah, but I mean,
And Tampa's real
Or
nice.
you don't, and you like that's your new home.
I mean, he can go places in the winter, but I mean, he's like Nick Lidstrom. He probably loves not living in Detroit because he probably lives in Auburn Hills or some, nice gated community where the bears don't get you or the gangs. But he
Or the Gangster Bears.
the gangster bears,
The
which is
Chicago Bears aren't getting anyone.
but I imagine he's a reserved family man, and he probably has his roots there, and he likes it there, and
All right, we don't blame him.
I'm
But now he's tired of commuting, and he sees a job opening in
Detroit.
Where did Holland go?
They've been saying that for the last 5 years.
That's right.
Well,
So now he's going back to push them out.
yeah, he's gonna say, "Hey, pal, thanks, but no thanks. See you later.
Thanks for warming that seat for me.
Thanks for screwing up everything and making me look great when I make a couple competent moves."
This would be a good time, right? Because they need to rebuild.
Yeah, they're no longer Hockey Town.
Yeah, and what a way to start by bringing in Steve Yzerman, who is no Trevor Linden.
Oh, he's good at his job.
Ken Holland, biggest free agent acquisition whenever he gets
Well,
signed.
exactly.
I don't know anymore.
That guy still knows
He's
what he's doing.
he's got-
And there'd be a job opening in Tampa.
No, they have already replaced him with the smart guy behind Steve Yzerman. They just put him forward. Now instead of being behind the chair in the press box, you are at the front chair at the press box.
Kyle Dubas situation?
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, okay.
And then some other old guy's like, "Well, that could have been my job, God damn it."
I was sitting in the wrong seat.
Ken Holland is got that Dean Lombardi stink on him. A really big case of old school guy with what have you done for me lately in the modern era.
Okay.
And he's made a lot of bad signings.
Yeah.
And I don't think that he's going to be picked up as quickly as he would have a few years ago. I mean 2 years ago or whatever it was when his contract was up and he was going to maybe he's from Penticton or he's from somewhere in the Okanagan. Maybe
he's not
gonna
a first overall anymore.
Yeah, well, when we were maybe he's gonna come to Vancouver, and now we're I don't think so. But anyway, it literally is not Hockey Town in Detroit.
Wait, maybe if he was to come to Vancouver, is that how you would react, or would you be like,
Well, everything is you know what? It's an improvement. And
you're like, you don't have a felt board? Okay.
And he's like, "No, I don't have a felt board," and he's pushing it out the way. No.
One of the things that I think spoke volumes about how far the Red Wings have not or fallen from being Hockey Town
Yeah.
was when they unveiled Little Caesars Place.
Mm-hmm.
They had their home opener the day before the Pistons did, and the Pistons had Eminem and announced it as Little Caesars Place inaugural event.
Oh man.
But the Red Wings had played the night before.
Yeah, and it's not what it used to be.
The Pistons used to bow down to the Red Wings.
Well, they also didn't share. They never shared an arena. That's the other problem.
Yeah, but in the marketplace,
Oh,
it was,
of course.
Yeah,
Well, ever since the bad boys of basketball left there.
yeah.
I mean, Detroit's not what it used to be. I mean, you have the stars. Gordie Howe's not. He's passed away. Steve Yzerman has got Tampa colors. Brendan Shanahan's got similar colors, but in a different font. And then you
I
have.
feel like Shanahan's okay.
Oh, they're both great. They have great colors on them.
Yeah.
But they are the same colors, but just a little different. And then Nick Lidstrom.
Those original 6 colors.
Talking about Tampa.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Shanahan and his blue.
Yeah, they
and
both
white.
are wearing blue and white.
Yeah.
Their jerseys look very similar.
They're identical templates.
Yeah, exactly. They're the exact shade of San Jose Sharks blue.
It's hard to get that. They're hard to get that pregame ceremony, the Edmonton Oilers pregame ceremony in Detroit. The mystique and the honors maybe not there as it was.
Speaking of Oilers ceremonies.
That's going to be a long one this year. What else we got? Oh, Steve.
I'll save it and I'll pitch it later.
Tyler Seguin got re-signed, and they announced it probably the
did
coolest
he
way
now?
possible.
Did you see the video game?
Yeah.
Love it. Fucking amazing.
That was the most genius.
But it also shows you that they really do appreciate Tyler Seguin there.
Yeah, and it also shows that the Dallas Stars have a sense of humor you can have one that's not annoying like the idiot Vegas Golden Knights.
No, they've got a great PR team.
I
there,
love it.
Ben.
And it was fascinating. And I was watching that. I'm like, I'm like, what the hell? I thought it was just like come to the home opener, and I watched the whole thing with.
So did I. Yeah.
And I didn't know that he had resigned. So I'm like, what the hell is this stupid thing? And then when they announced it, I'm like, that's great.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what a great deal.
I find Vegas way too corny. Like for like Donnie and Marie. It's too much.
They just haven't found the right balance yet. They're throwing everything at the wall, trying to see what works and what doesn't work, and they're not necessarily looking at what other teams have done to be successful in that way in marketing the team. And because everything works in Vegas, that's the other problem. Nothing has flopped.
Yeah, and it's going to keep working, and they're just going to keep being loud, yelling people.
Whereas in Vancouver, we're so disenchanted.
But we're relentless.
We're like, but battle. Okay, sure. Yeah, fun.
We're so conceited. Like, hey, says they're going to battle. Yeah, fucking right. Am I right there? Battle. Yeah, I'm not paying $8 to go to this game. Let's get out of here. But I'm a very big fan of the Jamie Benn deal. The Tyler Seguin deal. He's making $350,000 more than Jamie Benn, and those two have been very formative. Fantastic players.
People were very humorous on the line.
Oh yeah. Those jokes write themselves.
You guys can make them. We're gonna try and resist.
We have new jokes to make this year.
Yeah.
We are relentless.
We're walking relentless. I got a couple of good questions I want to get to.
Okay.
This is Kevin at Never K Recklin. Listening to Sportsnet 960. I don't know where's that?
Not here.
Well, he mentions I thought he said 650, and he mentions Boomer and Warrener, and I go, geez, I never listen to Sportsnet. Nobody listens to 650 in Vancouver. I don't know who those people are.
Let's find this out.
960.
You know who did? The racist.
That's right. That's from the summer episode. Go listen to that one. They were talking about Canadian teams having to overpay to keep their talent in Canada. Do you think that this is true? If so, why? And I was thinking about this. I'll let you guys. Basically, I wrote this.
It is not desirable to play in Canada right now because the teams are not good.
Well, the biggest thing to look at is Max Pacioretty.
Yeah.
He signed a deal as I look down at my paper, $7 million average, 4 years.
Okay, in Vegas.
For Vegas.
Yeah. Wait, Pacioretty I feel like is a special case because it's not like he really wanted to leave Montreal. He was their captain. They did not want him. He was shunned.
He didn't. Well, Geeta.
They went on a witch hunt.
Sorry to burst your Pacioretty lady boner, but he asked for a trade twice.
When? After being given this year, after being like bullied out of town.
Yes, he was asked for a trade after being bullied out of town. Well, now I'm out of the city limits.
I didn't want to. I don't know the history of Pacioretty.
He asked for a trade sometime last season, and he asked for a trade again in the summer.
That's different. They have hated him for so long.
Well, yeah, he's the worst captain in Montreal Canadiens history. If you
I'd
don't
want to be out too.
Well, yeah, I don't want to play with the Montreal Canadiens. You know how mad they're gonna get mad if I play.
They didn't like me, and they picked on me all the time.
And your French is terrible.
I mean, well,
Geeta, part-toi, the game, the third period, and you're like,
I try to speak with my fake French accent. They don't like that either.
Anyway, but the thing is, he signed a $7 million deal for 4 years in Vegas. Because of their income tax laws and state taxes, he would have to be paid $9.37 million in Montreal to make the same amount of money. And to be taxed across. I imagine the taxes are just as bad all across Canada, and so that's the biggest thing where you have to overpay for talent. It's not a matter of I need more to play in Canada because it's Canada. I need more to play in Canada because of how much goddamn tax you charge. So I think that there is a disadvantage there.
Yes.
I also think there's a disadvantage that if Max Pacioretty did want to stay in Montreal and he wanted to make what was fair. And let's say he said, I want to make the equivalent of what I could get in Vegas, which is $7 million, the equivalent here because of the taxing.
Yeah.
And he is American too.
Yeah.
Is 9.35 or whatever, 9.37. If he signed a 4-year, $9.37 million deal, the Habs fans are just going to be pissed off because he was greedy and demanded so much money. When in reality, he's getting what he's reasonably worth. He's a pro athlete. He's trying to get what he's worth. So you have that more resentment. So it is hard to play in Canada because if you want to get paid fairly, the fans are going to jump on you if you have a bigger cap hit and you're not producing.
I don't even I'm sure that money is at the forefront, but I think one of the things too is just the scrutiny.
Yeah.
Like Max Pacioretty is going to go be a -3 in Vegas and be able to go to the Bellagio and play roulette and not be recognized.
Yeah, because Canadians don't travel to Vegas.
You know, he's not going. He's
I
gonna.
like it.
He's
The
going to
Montreal
be able to.
Canadians fans are in Vegas just to bully Pacioretty.
All right, guys, we need 10 people at the Bellagio tonight. We're going to bully Patches. We're going to tell him he sucks at hockey, doesn't play art in the corner, and that he is a filthy American.
Alisa.
Patrice, you will go down on Tuesday. Louis, Wednesday.
I'm like, at least
That's
Patrick
really good.
Thank you.
I'm like, oh, this is what Patrick was doing with his time.
Wasn't it you that was telling me about Gabranson talking or going out for dinner with his dad, and the guy at the table behind him, this was when he was in Florida,
Yeah.
was talking about how Erik Gabranson played that game. He's like, yeah, I went to the game tonight and Erik Gabranson was playing like crap, and Gabranson was beside him at the restaurant and the guy didn't recognize him. Like there's
Was he wearing his helmet?
yeah.
Was he wearing his tinted Eric Weinrich visor?
Oh, is that what he's got?
No, but it's like the big, like
Yeah.
the most disguise possible.
Yeah, the
That's
Ovi.
fantastic. Yeah.
But that is a big draw as well when you go to those markets. I'm going to play hockey, minus the coach yelling at me. I'm going to get a couple $1,000,000 a year. Couple of million bucks. And then I'm going to be able to go to the grocery store with my wife and people are going to leave me alone.
Yeah. And I think outside, and then you think of the equivalent here in Vancouver where Daniel and Henrik will have some cute stories about being at Urban Fair and some nice old lady will say, oh, you got to get that power play going. And they're like, yes, we're doing. But if you're not him, if you're anybody but the Sedins,
it gets old in a hurry.
You're getting some hot takes. Hey, Erik Goodbranson. Why don't you learn how to play hockey, you loser? And he's like, oh, I thought I was escaping this in Florida. Ah, shit. And I wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
I
think you want to play in Canada when you're winning, and when you're losing, I want to go to Columbus.
Yeah. And
really bad.
Carolina doesn't sound too bad.
Exactly. I'm going to make the same money, probably pay less in taxes, and then I want to get traded to the Jets when the whiteout is a thing, and everybody loves us.
We love Paul Stastny now.
Exactly.
Who's also a Vegas Golden Knight.
But, man, to play in a Canadian market when you're not good, you want to play in Raleigh when they forget that the Hurricanes aren't are a thing.
Yeah, when you're like, I need to play my way. I need to get 20 goals so that I can, my next contract, I can go to a good team, and I'll do that here in Carolina where nobody's going to notice me.
Yeah.
This is a good question, and we talked for a few years now that the West has been pretty bad, and with the Vegas Golden Knights, the new San Jose Sharks, and the Jets and the Predators, and I actually think that I'm really liking the Calgary Flames this year, but that's just my take, and I'll eat my words eventually. Richard asks, send dank memes one. I got a new favorite Twitter handle. Mm-hmm. With all the quality players moving west this summer, is it not even shameful for Vancouver to finish dead last?
No.
I wouldn't say so either.
Yeah, no.
And when you're into
for the last 3 years, we've been trying to will them to finish last.
And now,
but also finishing last means nothing. You don't get first overall necessarily.
Yeah, but you get the best possible chance.
That means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, Philadelphia. I hear you.
Thank you.
But, now this is the best possible chance. This is the best thing for the tank is Erik Karlsson coming to the Pacific Division where he's going to score 6 goals against the Canucks every time he plays them. And then another 6 for Brent Burns. So the Sharks are going to win 94-0 every night against the Canucks. Good number.
I feel like that's what their season record will be as well. 94-0. How did they get all those wins? Those 12 extra wins. Well, have you seen their back end?
They got an ass end on it. That ass just won't quit. What was the other question here? Mills, listener Mills83 goes, will a Canadian team compete for the Cup in the next 5 years?
I mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah, Toronto.
Toronto.
Have you not been paying attention?
Toronto, Winnipeg. You could have Toronto versus Winnipeg.
Winnipeg competed this year.
Yeah, that's true. And there's, definitely those two teams. And then if somebody gets hot in Calgary, I will say that I got a feel. I like that Calgary Flames
if
team.
Jesus gets a defense.
Yeah, and actually that's the other thing. The Oilers' defense is not going to be as banged up, not as too many blown out knees this year. So that's
also,
positive there.
Montreal's gotten rid of all their baggage, all of it.
Yeah, so now it's fun times there, and Drouin's going to be the player he's supposed to be. Max Domi's going to be the player he's supposed to be.
I mean, Matt Duchene's leading Ottawa all the way.
They just need to get
their fifth Stanley Cup final in the last 20 years.
Third round for the Canucks in the next 5 years. Yes or no?
Third in the next 5 years?
Yep.
No.
Really?
The Canucks will make the playoff. The
Canucks will make the playoffs in 2020.
The Canucks don't make the third round.
No.
They make the finals or they don't.
No, but I'm saying bare minimum third round in the next 5 years.
No, they don't lose in the third round.
I think they're going to.
For them to get to the third round, a lot of teams have already lost, so therefore they walk into the finals.
Captain Bo Horvat will be 30-something. He'll be at least 30 if they go to the finals.
But he will get them to the finals once.
Yeah, and he'll...
I think they're in the finals by his 28th birthday.
No.
Jesus Christ.
That's a baby.
No baby knows how to win a cup at that age.
Yeah.
No one puts baby in a corner.
Nobody in Vancouver knows how to win a cup at that age.
Jay Beagle does.
That guy.
How bad is...
Captain Jay Beagle.
Oh, Jesus.
He's reunited with
He's got more
Sutter.
Stanley Cup rings than all of us.
That Pittsburgh winning mentality.
Washington?
Oh, is that where he's from? I thought he was from Pittsburgh. Again, mid-season form here.
That's okay. I thought the Senators have been to the finals 5 times.
Mills also asks, how bad is Montreal and Ottawa going to be? And I'll answer on your behalf based on Ottawa having Matt Duchene and Montreal shaving all their baggage away. Look out. That's 1 and 2 in their division right there, because they are ready to play. They are relentless. They compete. They love competing.
It's going to be bad.
They're going to be really bad.
It's going to be bad.
And my final, this is a great question. It's not a hockey question, but it literally, pardon my French, put the kids to bed, blew my fucking mind when this information was brought to my attention. Are you ready for this?
Hit me.
Ken Margill, just K on Twitter, or is K at Ken Margill.
Raging
Alpacas. He goes, how do you feel about this? And he sends us a Seth Rogen tweet.
Okay.
And he goes, hot tip that's 25 years too late. But I didn't have Twitter back then. In Duck Hunt on the original Mario.
Yeah.
Sorry, Duck Hunt on Nintendo.
Yeah.
The second player controller controlled the duck.
What?
No.
We need to get a hold of that.
I'm not. Can you believe that? Because it was always the one-person game where you'd have to sit there and watch, and you would use the second controller just to hit start and A and get the game going.
We didn't know that.
I never would have thought to do that.
The Super Nintendo's there for you, but I don't have regular Nintendo.
The Super Nintendo's here?
Yeah.
Yes. I've been wanting to play some games for a while.
Let's make that happen.
So yeah, that blew my mind because there have been so many fisticuffs.
So save some of that Patreon money and find us a Nintendo.
I could come across an original Nintendo. Why? So we could both play Duck Hunt?
Yes.
Duck Hunt Championships.
All right. Okay. There we go. If I can locate if I can track down an original NES with Duck Hunt and a controller and the gun, we'll play
because my parents never got me the original one, so it was always sort of a bit of a treat to play it at other people's houses.
We need to invite him too for the question or the
If
the
not,
tidbit.
We'll also record it for Patreon. We'll film.
Okay, yeah.
So that blew my mind. And that's gonna wrap it up for the podcast this week. Our return, our 6th season. No PMAC.
He never calls in.
Yeah, he's gonna be fuming. He's gonna write Martin Luther's not Luther King Jr.
No, Martin Luther,
the one who wrote the thing on the
thesis.
That's what he's gonna write on our wall about Matt Duchene and how much he loves him and what a great player he is. In defense to this slanderous episode. Disagree? No comment.
Oh, yeah, no. What did we call it? Defending Duchesne?
Yeah, FOMO with Dave and Defending Duchesne. Once again, I want to thank our newest Patreon backer.
We do miss you, too.
Yeah, I look forward to PMAC's return for the start of the regular season.
Yeah.
And I do want to thank new Patreon backer, $5 coming from Real Good Joe out in Chilliwack.
Can I give a shout out to a super fan?
Sure.
Junior, keep listening, buddy.
Hi, Junior.
Hi, Junior. Oh, and explain, what were you doing before the podcast today?
I was at the Fairmont Hotel having cocktails with my dad.
And who is your father?
Big Murr.
And what does Big Murr do?
He sells hot tubs.
Where?
At Calais Spas and Billiards.
Where's that?
In Nanaimo,
Jesus
British
Christ.
Columbia.
How many times
I don't know what you're leading me towards.
I love the fact that
He was just giving you a plug.
I love the fact that your father is the hot tub king of Nanaimo.
So if you need a hot tub
If
in Nanaimo,
yeah, tell him Cole and Pucks on Net sent you. He'll give you 30.
10%.
30. No, 40% off.
It's a fire sale.
It's gotta go.
In Nanaimo, British Columbia, Surrey by the sea.
So we'll wrap up the podcast this week. We'll go into 5 minutes for paying. I had something embarrassing happen to me on my way to the podcast today.
Okay.
It involves what I'm wearing and then a Tinder flame in some capacity.
a Tinder date wearing what you're wearing? Like, I don't wear what I wear. I wear my Bills jersey once a year.
Well, never mind. Geeta just gave it away. I walked past a girl that I matched with and wound up meeting, but it was I walked past her in my neighborhood and I was toting all the podcasts in a bag and I was wearing a Buffalo Bills jersey and I looked like an absolute idiot. And
you look like you were going to a sports bar.
It looks like I'm about to jump through a folding table in a snowy parking lot, or that I'm going to quit.
You're like, I'm going tailgate. It's Monday night.
It's the Monday Nighter. So that'll wrap up this Monday Nighter. Well, make sure you follow us on Twitter at PucksOnNetCA.
Oh, I thought that bit was behind the Beagle.
No, we haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, okay.
Or PucksOnNetCA. Ka! And go like us on Instagram and go like our Facebook page. And go head on over to the new pucksonnet.ca. I have got the specs there. Redid pucksonnet.ca. There's blogging. And make sure you head over to patreon.com/pucksonnet. Pledge a couple of bucks.
Couple of bucks.
$5 will get you access to all our donor-only content. We're going to have a new one up there today, 5 minutes for paying. PMAC and I did a bonus episode over Labor Day that you can go check out, which was a lot of fun. And I guess the other thing, go rate and review the podcast on iTunes. We got a new one this week that's really helpful. That's the best way to support the show if you don't want to pledge a couple of bucks, and we totally understand that. And so go do all that jazz. This is the part of the show where I talk to myself, and it feels like I'm doing this because, people look at phones, people just kind of look away, stare at me blankly while I say, I basically read the credits of the show, and now the show is over. And now we'll do 5 minutes for paying.